Hello YouTube, Miles here, Paradise in a Pot, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you're new here, welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you get all the planting content that we do here, houseplant shopping, plant chores, and plant tours coming in the near future. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And this week is Houseplant of the Week. Woodii, which is a lovely houseplant that's long and stringing, little heart-shaped leaflets growing on strings. It's from Southeast Africa, and it was discovered hanging off the cliffs of a rock back in 1881 by a John Wood, who was the person who it was named after, hence the woodii. And it was named officially in 1895 when a sample was sent back to England for a live sample for growth and flowering when they put it into the Variegated family. By 1900, it became an official listed plant, and it's now a very common house plant that we have in our homes today. This lovely plant, like I said, can grow 3 or 4 meters long, gets really long, and as you can see photos of mine, that it's very long and voluptuous. The flower is very phallic-like. I'll put a picture in here for you guys to check out. Make sure you give it plenty of light if you really want it to flower for you. I find that mine flowered in March, so it flowered for about a month, and then it stopped flowering, and it was getting east window direct sunlight every morning. So I think that's a good way to really powerhouse this plant. Now, I do find that when I water this plant, which I'm going to show you right here, I do take and put the whole plant and submerge it underwater, leaves and all, for about 30 minutes, just like a succulent you would soak, except I soak the leaves and all, and this way here you guarantee if there's any pests on there, you might kind of drown them off there and keep them in check, because it is kind of a long stringy plant, so it's hard to go through leaf by leaf to really inspect it. As for lighting, the brighter the light you give it, the faster it will grow. It will get kind of a reddish tint around the edge of the leaves, which is really pretty. And it does come in different forms. Here you see I have silver string of hearts, or silver glory string of hearts, which is more of a silvery leaf. These leaves happen to be bigger. This is from Peace Lily Plants, a houseplant swap I did back in March. If you want to see that video, make sure you check out my playlist down below. And then there's also the variegated string of hearts, which I'm showing you here. And this one was given to me by a local friend of mine that I met off Instagram. Her name is Laura. So thank you, Laura, for my variegated string of hearts. I do love it. Now this plant, like I said, does come from East Africa. So it does tolerate temperatures between 65 and 95 degrees just fine. You're not going to want to give it full south window sun because it will crisp up. It's only used to getting a few hours of sunlight throughout the day, and then it kind of gets shaded over depending on what kind of foliage is around it. So make sure you don't burn or scorch your plant. I water it maybe every 8 to 10 days, depending on when the leaves start drying up, or if it looks like it's starting to get some leaves dried up, they're falling off. And you will always have a little mess below this plant because it does constantly drop leaves. And the longer it gets, the more leaves there are, so the more likelihood a leaf can drop. So I do find myself constantly sweeping under this plant. As far as feeding this plant, I feed it pretty lightly. I feed it maybe twice a year, more like a succulent so that it's not getting a lot of food. The potting mix that I keep it in is a very well-draining potting mix made for succulents that I've added perlite to. And let's see, what else about this plant could I really say? It's just a really fun plant, really easygoing, easy to take care of, as long as you're not an overwaterer. If you are an overwaterer, you might want to make a chunkier mix, something more draining for the plant so that it doesn't sit in water ever, because you do not want it to sit in water except for that 30-minute soak you do maybe every 8 to 10 days. One of the other things I'd like to say about this plant is it is easy to propagate. You can take little cuttings and put them into sphagnum moss, and they will all root up. You can take long cuttings and put them into water, and that will root up. Now, I have found personally that the small cuttings in sphagnum moss root better for me and are more stable once it's time to go. So thank you very much for watching today. This has been Houseplant of the Week, Variegated woodii. Bye.